What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video. I think we're on like part 12 or something of this silly build series. I didn't actually plan on making this particular video. I kind of ran into a slight technical problem and thought you guys might benefit from the knowledge and how I'm going to go about fixing it. So if you saw the title of this video, obviously you know what it's about. If you remember from the last video, I still need to go through and install the intake manifold and wiring harness, which is all good to go now. As well as this guy, I tried to trim it as little as humanly possible, and then kind of how it was situated, I wound up kind of cutting a little bit too much there on the left. So, oh well, it is what it is. Overall, it came out pretty good. And after I got those two things knocked out, that means that I only had two more things to do. Put gas on the car, fill it up with coolant, and then we'd be ready to go and plug in the laptop, and I was going to go and make a separate video for that. Well, I haven't actually put gas on the car yet. However, I did go and fill the radiator up with coolant, and look what I found. If you look right there, it's about to drip right now. There it goes. This is the upper radiator coupler on my brand new, probably like $700 if I remember right, Powerhouse radiator. So consequently, with that leaking, I can't exactly go and fire it up. It's actually leaking enough to where if I do fire it up and pressurize the system, then it's probably just going to be gushing out of there. So it's really something that I need to go and fix now. I've not contacted Powerhouse just because, I mean, honestly, I just didn't want to go and wait to send it there and then have them send it back and whatever else. And realistically speaking, this is like the very first problem I've ever had with any Powerhouse stuff that I've ordered. I've ordered a lot of stuff from them over the years, and to have a tiny little leak, like, that's not a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this out of here, grind out the powder coat a little bit, and lay another bead on top of it. And then I'm going to show you guys how to go and pressure check the system so that you can go and double check this too if you do either wind up welding on your own fittings or having Powerhouse do it or something like that. In order to do that though, we need to go and pull this thing back out of the car, so I'm gonna go ahead and get to work on that. All right, so we got this off, and originally it was leaking from like right in here, and you really can't even feel it unless you put your finger on the backside, and you can tell like right here, there's actually like a kind of a gap in the weld. I don't know if that was like a start-stop point or what, but it's super hard to see. Honestly, I mean, like with naked eye, you can't even really tell, but like with your finger, you can definitely tell that there's a gap there. I also checked this one. This one's pretty good. I slid my finger all around the inside where the weld was. I didn't notice any gaps, so that one should be all right.
One eternity later.
All right, so definitely not my prettiest work, but it should hold up pretty okay. I think my only concern is gonna be right down here. I think like looks like I hit it a little bit light, but yeah, I don't know. Let's pressure test it. See what happens. All right, guys. So now that we got the welding done, hopefully, we're gonna go through and pressure test the radiator, just to make sure that everything's good to go instead of reassembling everything and only to find out it leaks again. So, because obviously we want to make sure our welds and stuff hold. In order to do that, there's a right way to do this, and then there's a way we're going to do it. The right way to do it is to go and get two 20 AN caps, throw one cap on one portion of the radiator, and then on the other cap, you're going to go and punch a couple of different holes in it. The first one's going to have a pressure gauge, and the other one is probably just going to do like a valve stem type deal. And basically it'll wind up looking really similar to our boost leak tester. If you're doing anything like this on a kind of professional basis or continuous basis, I definitely recommend investing in the right tools and equipment ahead of time. However, I'm only gonna be doing this once, so we're gonna do it a little bit differently. The first thing we're gonna be needing is gonna be our air filler, air sprayer, whatever this thing is. They're super cheap. I think I got this over at Harbor Freight for like 10 bucks or something. After that, we got our ever important roll of duct tape. And lastly, we got our $1 Walmart spray bottle filled with some soapy water. If you guys have done anything like this before, you probably know where I'm going already. I don't need to go in and jump into too much detail, but let's go ahead and jump on in, get the rad pressure tested, make sure I don't have any more leaks anywhere else. All right, so whenever you're blocking this stuff off, just make sure everything's nice and tight on the lower portion of the rad. We got this one right here, which obviously we got taped off. You got a little drain plug as well as this guy right here, so just kind of give that a twist, make sure it's nice and tight. On the upper portion here, I tried to stay away from these welds here, just because that's gonna be the main area we're testing. So got this thing connected right here. You do need to make sure you got your radiator cap, as well as the overflow and everything like that blocked off on here too. This right here is gonna be the outlet on the regulator, and we're only gonna wanna put this thing at about 10 PSI. So these things go up in increments of 5. You got 15, 20, 25, 30. So I put this thing at right about 10, and the main reason for that is because if you look right down there on the radiator cap, this thing only goes to 1.1 bar. So it's gonna be right around, was that 15, 16 PSI, something like that. So it's not gonna be a whole lot, and I don't wanna go blowing anything apart. All right, so whenever you guys do this, we got our valve right here. You can hear it leaking a little bit. It's coming right out of here, and then over here as well. So it's definitely not airtight like it would be with the AN fittings. I've gone ahead and sprayed a little bit of soapy water right down here. Let's go ahead and look at that. Now if this was leaking at all, you'd be seeing bubbles and stuff coming up out of here in pretty good abundance. So this thing is officially good to go. I tell you guys what, based on how those welds looked, I was a little bit worried. Super grateful they're holding together though. I mean, that thing looks fantastic. So let's go ahead and get it back in the car, get it filled back up with coolant. After that, I mean, that's pretty much all we got left. So we got to throw some gas and stuff in it still, and then boot up the laptop and change the injector scale and a couple other bits. So I'll probably do that in a different video, but let's at least get this thing back in the car and go from there. All right, guys, so I got a couple of pro tips for you right quick. Number one, if you're thinking about doing 20 AN fittings on your radiator, my advice would be don't. If you're insistent on doing it though, and you want to just do the upper one, that one's way easier to get to, so probably just do that. If you are a glutton for punishment like myself, and you want your upper and lower one to match, and you're absolutely insistent on doing 20 AN fittings, the upper one's easy. Like I said, the lower one sucks to try to go and get on there without getting anything cross-threaded. So let me show you guys how to do that right quick. Hopefully it'll make y'all's life easier if you do decide to do the 20 AN, upper and lower. And honestly, once you kind of get the hang of it, it gets a little bit easier. I just spent probably an hour getting this stupid thing back on, just because I couldn't go and get anything lined up right. So let me show you all what I did, and hopefully it'll help you guys out too. Right up here, you got your thermostat housing, and this is also connected to a thermostat rotator plate. So once you go and pull this thing down, this lower water neck, disconnect that, and then thread it onto this fitting right here, just kind of get things started. And then come down to this side here. You will need to go and disconnect both the mounts up from on top of the radiator, and you can push this side up and out of its little hole right here. And that'll allow you to go and get this one started, and you can go and get that one threaded almost all the way down. You're gonna need to get this one about 80 to 90% tight, and then once that one's good to go, you can come back here, snug this one up a little bit more. Then you can go and tighten up the 2 bolts into this turn down right here on the lower neck, and get that reinstalled into the rotator. Once those 2 bolts are back in, you can go and finish tightening up this one, and then finish tightening up that one too. So hopefully that helps you guys out. That's what I did. It worked pretty well. It took me a hot minute to kind of go and figure that out, but once you kind of get everything started and working itself in, it makes it a lot easier. I'm gonna go ahead and get back to work. I still gotta go and torque those 2 bolts down, and then tighten up these other 2, and then we should be ready to go and put coolant back in the car. All right, guys, that is a wrap for this video. This thing is pretty much 99.9% back together. I'm gonna let this thing sit overnight just to make sure that it's not leaking from anywhere or anything like that. But yeah, hopefully, with a bit of luck, the next time you guys see this thing, it'll actually be up and running, which would be awesome. So that is it for today's video, though. I really hope you guys liked it. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate y'all's support. I will see you guys very soon in the next video. Catch you next time.